Welcome back to Digital Champions on Daily Ad Brief. I'm your host, Mike White, and on Digital Champions, we're meeting with experts in the industry talking about tips, tricks, trends, and technologies they're utilizing to help their companies grow. Join us today from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Tom Panos with SmartSources. Welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
So is it 678, or how do you pronounce that?
Pronounce what?
So being
Last
from
name?
the Midwest, it's always, you can tell the Wisconsin dialogue through the eights and how they pronounce those words. So
Really?
welcome
Do I
on.
have the accent? Great to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm really excited to chat with you.
So Tom, tell me about SmartSources and the types of service you offer your
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah. So SmartSources is a new model or a new take on a very tried and true business model, which is outsourcing. So what SmartSources does is we call ourselves a remote business-to-business services company. So in essence, at its foundation, what we do is provide access to more qualified and more skilled remote workers and remote professionals who are abroad. And typically they are living in areas areas where the job market is monopolized by global BPOs, business process outsourcing companies. And after doing a lot of research, we learned that these companies pay as little as $3 an hour. They pay below livable wages in many of these countries, like the Philippines, for example. So we're a philanthropic business as well, in that we believe that, the highest skill level people and the most experienced professionals in these markets have been deprived of the opportunity to make a good living with the skills they have and the experience they have. And we want to go in there and cherry pick those folks and then give U.S. businesses the opportunity to have someone on par with a marketing manager, let's say, in terms of skill and knowledge, but pay a fraction of the cost. And we target typically, small to mid-sized businesses. Professional services is going well for us, but that's the core of the business.
So this comes at a great time to really what is the Great Resignation, where companies are losing employees because of not being able to work remotely. Talk more about that and the stats that you found.
Right. Yeah, so basically some of the research we did was pretty shocking, actually. I didn't expect a lot of it. So as an example, 61% of Americans would be willing to take a pay cut just to maintain remote working from home. There's another, let's see here. So 60% of Americans would move to a new city just because the job opportunity there offered remote work. And even 70% of Americans would forfeit health benefits to maintain their working from home status. That is, in my opinion, saying something about the power of working from home and how important it is to American workers.
So people are adjusting their lifestyles, adjusting their locations, even in Florida. We've been fortunate to have no state income tax. We live in an area that it's not that expensive to live. So we've had all the New Yorkers and people that have been locked up for last year moving down here. So do you see that a lot with the young entrepreneurs as well?
I think when the pandemic hit, it caused, like myself, moving from Chicago, where I was for a decade, to Milwaukee now. A lot of people are realizing that since you're going to be working from home, or you may want to be working from home, the big city, it isn't necessarily something that's necessary. And the cost savings are huge, right? I mean, I didn't have an office. If I wanted to work from home in Chicago, I'd have to be couldn't be an entrepreneur because I lived in a one bedroom with my girlfriend, with my fiance. Here, we each have our own office in our apartment, and we pay less in rent than we did in Chicago. So I think it's a fiscal decision for entrepreneurs who are moving to places like Florida, for example. Yeah, I think that's probably a key factor.
What is the biggest change that you see coming up over the next 12 months in how companies market their businesses?
Yeah, so I think we've been on a trajectory of change for a long time. So an interesting stat, for example, in around 2014, if you look at sales and marketing software, that's the most crowded or market or subset of an industry on the planet. And there were about 400 vendors in that space that did sales and marketing software in 2014. At the end of this year, we're going to pass 10,000. That is an astonishing growth rate. And what most of those companies do is provide, or a large chunk of them is provide ways for businesses to automate their outreach or their messaging. Now, that's had a twofold effect. It's created, number one, more noise in the B2B marketplace than ever before. If you're trying to reach a decision maker, a senior executive, when I started over a decade ago, it was between maybe 4 to at most 6 or 7 attempts through the phone, and you'd probably get the person live. I think the average now is 16 plus or 18 plus attempts to get someone live. And that's just due to the vast amount of noise in the marketplace. And a big chunk of that also comes from automating messaging. So if you're on LinkedIn a lot, I'm sure you experience it, especially if you're an entrepreneur. There's so much automated outreach that two of the most important things in marketing and sales, in my opinion, are getting lost or getting kind of hidden behind all of this just massive amount of messaging. And that's true authenticity and humanity, a sense of this is a human being reaching out to another human being that wants to share something with them that they think would be valuable. It doesn't have the same effect when it comes from software. And nothing against software. I'm a nerd. I love sales and marketing software, but I think it's the overuse of this type of stuff will cause businesses to have to rethink completely how they're going to stand out. How are they going to win in terms of over their competitors?
And they win by hiring a company like SmartSources that can help reduce their costs and increase their acquisitions. So
yeah, we can definitely do that. Absolutely.
Tom, I appreciate you coming on the program, sharing your insights today. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Love to be back.
To find out more about SmartSources and all the amazing things that they can help you do in your business, visit us at dailyadbrief.com. We'll see you next time on Digital Champions.